kind of slow him. But other than that, there's not really a lot of good lockdown CCs to set up for the Quinn. Same thing in the mid lane. We have a Kali. No hard CC at all. Slow if they're inside of their little...
The shroud, yeah.
The little shroud. And otherwise, nothing. So, the bottom lane is going to be the easiest lane to gank for the jungle Quinn.
Mm-hmm. Plus, otherwise, I mean, if we learned anything from last game, you want to get Armatrunga rolling, so gank that lane.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just throw a second AD carry down there and just try to kill the Caitlyn, who naturally, I mean, while she has the range and harass, her actual trading is, I mean, besides the changes they did to the net, which was actually necessary, because her actual trades as an AD carry was always poor. And that was how they had to balance her due to the fact that she has such a great range to begin with. Mm-hmm. And we have ourselves a pause.
We do have a pause. Flynn Rider, Fiora, picking up the Cull for her starting item. Bit of an interesting item, so it gives you 5 attack damage. It gives you 3 life on hit, which is different than life steal, because life steal is calculated based off of your damage that you deal, and then it gives you life steal based on how much damage you dealt. But Cull just gives you flat 3 life on hit, so if you hit something, you're going to get 3 life.
Which is actually, the Cull itself, due to the 3 life on hit, is more efficient than a Doran's Blade until you hit around 100 AD, where the 3% life steal finally matches it. Yeah. So before that, I mean, Cull is going to give you basically 1 extra life on hit, since with 3%, if you have like 70 so AD, you're getting 2. So,
and then it has the unique passive of killing a minion gives you 1 additional gold, so every last hit that you get 1 additional gold for that. And once you do that 100 times, you lose that passive, but you get 300 gold on top of that.
So it's a relatively good item then, if you're a champion that's trying to hit an itemization power spike as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, Cull is generally what I try to run on Corki, for example, because I want to get to that trending force.
Now going in, he gets hit, but he still wants to go in. He has the Shield of Daybreak charged up. Godsmith gets stunned, takes some damage here. Red team goes for it, but they can't quite dive the turret. They don't burn anything out of it.
Nothing's get burned.
Piltover Peacemaker comes through. Boomedow's forced to back. So is Godsmith. But yeah, one last point on the Cull here is that because of how much it costs in-game, which I forget its exact price, but you're only able to buy 1 health potion or biscuit instead of 2. Which you can typically
it's the same price as the Doran's Blade.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's basically the other alternative, whereas like how for mages, you either go Doran's Ring or the Dark Seal, which gives you 2 potions you can buy. You either go Doran's Blade or the Cull and get 1 potion.
Nice Gromp start here for the Quinn jungle, starting on the bottom side of the map. Same with the Yi as well. They're both going to work their way up towards the top side of the map, most likely. Possibly the first gank, first bit of action up in the top lane. And otherwise, not a whole lot of action occurring just yet here.
Caitlyn gained a little bit of pot shots on Leona whenever she can. That's what you kind of need to do as Caitlyn.
Red team most likely going to hit level 2 first here, so we'll see if Leona wants to go aggressive then, or if she's going to wait for the typical level 3 power spike that we're that we're used to seeing from Leona.
Mm-hmm. The only problem is that if she waits until level 3, and if they're able to hit level 2 first, that's when they need to go, because it's likely now that Caitlyn's either going to get a trap and make it more difficult for Leona to position appropriately for that engage, or she's going to grab net, and she can actually net out of range of that lance and completely disengage Leona's fight.
Nice lockdown there by Check Out My Mixtape, and you saw immediately, once he landed the Rune Prison, you saw Flynn Rider. He knew Flynn Rider was going to start winding up that riposte, and so he walked out of the way before doing any more damage. Instead of just going for the easy burst, he immediately moved to the side so he didn't waste any of his mana on damage that wasn't going to go through. So nice bit of positioning there in the top lane. All lanes are fairly even for the most part right now. Kali kind of holding her own. Actually out CSing the Ahri early game here, which is pretty nice. And the wave is pushing against her as well, so that does potentially leave Ahri out of position. Of course, both junglers not quite ready to be ganking just yet. They both went back for the early Hunter's Talisman.
The Hunter's Talisman, think is a really good item, addition to the game. We're now, since obviously they changed the machete.
Oh, here's the aggression in bot lane. Go in on the Virus Alive, but Godsmith, nice positioning there with the Unbreakable. Blocked pretty much all 3 shots coming out of Armor Chonga there. Almost all the damage from Armor Chonga he blocked.
Really good job there by Godsmith, protecting his AD carry. Basically making the trade completely even, despite the fact that Virus of Life was initially caught.
I'm trying to see what their keystones are here. Godsmith did take the Bond of Stones, so damage that would otherwise hit Caitlyn in this bottom lane, a small percentage of that is going to go towards the Godsmith instead. And
a very reasonable keystone, honestly, for someone like Braum. And the reason why Akali's actually missing a lot of CS is that she's focusing more on harassing the melee Akali than actually CSing herself. So she's trying to push her out of lane and punish that range difference. And top lane right now, Flynn Rider is sitting relatively low, but thankfully Ryze is about out of mana, so I guess the aggression is going to come to an end in the top lane.
And he's still got a lot of stacks on Cull as well, so he's still got a decent amount of sustain for himself. Ooh, close Zenith Blade, doesn't quite get it. Yi is getting very close. He does go for the Alpha Strike, just taps him and walks away.
Tap and release.
We do see Quinn is kind of in the area as well. Actually heading more towards the middle lane currently. She's not going to have that tag team insane movement speed until level 6, so she might just want to try to farm very
Ooh, Ryze gets a catch down onto
Flynn Rider, stuck in the middle of the minion wave, just stuck behind his own minions as well. Lots of damage put down, and Flynn Rider is probably forced to back. Interesting to note as well is that both top laners actually opted for the teleport this game, so we might see some crazy stuff happening down in the bottom lane later, like we were used to seeing before the big patch went through. Possibly in the mid lane as well, depending on where the junglers choose to put most of their focus.
Now you can understand the reasoning behind both top laners for why they went teleport. Ryze, because when Ryze starts getting those items, gets that tier, gets that catalyst, and start working on that Rod of Ages, his teleport ganks, and especially if he builds up his passive enough, can be lethal because he can show up and perma CC a target of choice.
Ooh, charmed out of stealth onto Netflix and chill there.
However, Ahri is relatively low on mana, so Ryze wants to have that opportunity to be able to make those cross-map plays, whereas Fiora, granted, Fiora could have gone for Ignite to try to have some more pressure in lane and try to get a kill on Ryze, but since she knew she was going to be at a range disadvantage and probably get harassed considerably by Ryze, wanted to have the teleport so she could have a safer laning phase and not miss too much experience if she gets pushed around early. Right now, CS-wise, they're even in the top lane. I mean, it's basically even all over the map completely. Akali going in hard for Ahri at this point. Ahri basically out of mana. Will Akali keep chasing? I think that's just going to be it. But I gotta say, it is a little bit concerning, though, that this Caitlyn Braum lane... Ooh, we have another fight in the mid lane.
Alright, Netflix Control does want to get his first kill there using the ultimate, but gets charmed. Elsai Kongro is out of mana, so he can't really retaliate with a lot of damage here. And both these mid laners are very low, but it looks like Sai Kongro is the first one forced to go back.
Once again, Flynn Rider is trying to land the riposte onto Ryze. Ryze going for all of it!
My goodness. Ryze happened. Check out my mixtape. Has the tier finished. Has the mana to unleash absolutely everything. And he did just that. And Flynn Rider just didn't have her pass up and didn't have enough to deal with that. He did throw down the Grand Challenge. He was going to try to break out of the Rune Prisons and then try to pop all the vitals and get some healing back. But that's just really unreliable when you're the one that's...
getting aggressed upon.
Yes, thank you. So...
And so far, Quinn has actually been handling the jungle relatively well. And we see another Tracker's Knife from a jungler at this point. We have yet to see an offensive jungle item this game.
Tracker's Knife just seems to be the way to go for this patch currently. It seems to be kind of the flavor of the month jungle item.
I mean, especially with the fact that, again, Vision has been nerfed so incredibly hard. So any way you're able to get Vision... Oh!
The red team, they're going in on the Virus Alive. The Unbreakable goes down, but we were not quite able to get the both procs off on the Virus Alive. The Leona ultimate is used, but now up in the mid lane by the Dragon here. Netflix and Chill gets caught out by 2 members. Ace in the hole does go down in the bottom lane.
Bot lane, they could get a kill on the Armatronga!
They get Virus Alive first. Can Armatronga survive this? He does! Armatronga and this red team bottom lane once again. Absolutely incredible.
Once again, Rise is going on to Fiora at this point. And Fiora manages to just slither away. Rise just finishes off the wave. And, man, there was a brief window where I think Caitlyn and Braum could have bursted down the Vayne in time, but Leona with a clutch stun, canceling the animation from a headshot, actually.
It didn't see him, gets arrowed, down he goes. But Dragon is doing quite a bit of damage. These 3 members need to be careful. If
Flash is on Ari.
Oh, if he had more mana, that's a triple kill.
Yeah, I know. Just flash over Orb and probably kill 2 instantly. By the way, if Vayne does not get 20 kills this game, he has to play Urgot on this account this whole season. That was the deal.
Well, he's on his way. It's at 1.
Yeah, it's better than 0. Who needs late game Vayne when there's no late game? Ooh, Rise catching out Kali.
Gets Rune Prisoned though. The Stealth Shroud goes down. He's forced to flash. Doesn't want to risk it.
Quinn was there too. They were sending everyone to that party up top.
All right, we got a Buva for Ari. It's going to help out quite a bit here. Another point to make is nobody went for Rift Herald last game. I'm not sure if anybody's going to go for it this game either. I think a lot of teams are not used to devoting that much attention to the top side of the map that early on, when Dragon is typically the big objective that you want to go for.
Mm-hmm. Because if there's anyone you want to get Rift Herald on this game for any specific team, I think it would be Fiora, because Fiora is struggling right now, so she needs something to try to give her an offensive edge, because it does give you increased offensive stats, but also just to keep pushing Rise in and make the minions stronger. Make it so Rise can't just insta-kill the waves anymore. Make him use his mana on the minions, and Fiora is...
Oh, the early riposte. Flynn Rider takes a lot of damage, gets bursted by the minion bounce. And check out my mixtape, 2-0 in this solo top lane.
The beats are strong with mixtape.
Now we're just going to go for the early tower here. Of course, towers are far less durable than they were prior to the patch, so... Oh, Puma now wants to go aggressive on this, but doesn't see Elsai Congo just sitting in plain sight in the back of the lane. Throws out the charm, throws out the Orb of Deception. Lots of damage goes down.
Here comes Quinn!
Here comes the tag team. Quinn throws down the Hail of Arrows. Godsmith is 1 hit away. Armatronga gets it. Virus Alive gets taken down by the Quinn. We go for the dive on the Elsai Congo. Armatronga wants it. Tumbles. Has a small hiccup there in the pathing. And is not able to get back in range for the second kill for himself.
18 more kills to go. That was a fantastic ultimate from Puma Dao, locking virtually Ari out from getting into the back line, because they had the initial fight. They had the 3v2 against the Leona and Vayne, but that wonderful solar flare from Leona keeping Ari out of the fight and unable to get into the back line and go after Vayne. So they had to focus everything onto Leona after she had her is that the Eclipse? Eclipse up, so she was already extra durable since it did strike the champions.
You can see Akali well on her way to building Gunblade, as you would expect. Although Gunblade has changed a bit as well. It now heals you for 15% of your damage dealt, instead of
having the lifesteal and spell vamp properties. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I believe it still has some of that. It still gives you some spell vamp and lifesteal, but now the passive on it just gives you a flat heal based on the damage you deal, and a third of that for AoE and multi-target abilities. So really interesting to see if Netflix Jill is going to be able to survive longer fights, especially since Check Out My Mixtape is ramping up on Rise. He already has Rod of Ages finished, which is massive for him. He's already got the tower down in the top lane as well. He's down here for this dragon fight. and he does have teleport available, so nice, easy, free dragon for the blue team here.
And he is going to teleport up top right now.
But the red team do have the lead currently, especially that massive fight in the bottom lane there. That did put them far ahead. Netflix goes in, but Errol is right around the corner. The nice point-blank charm from Kongro baited him in very nicely. But Netflix until now is on the run. Has Quinn around the corner as well. So see, both these teams are trying to bait this out here. The tag team Quinn, very, very fast indeed. Netflix and Joe goes in. Already forced to pop the ultimate, but now we have a fight in the bottom lane here. Puma now goes in onto Godsmith. The trap goes down. Doesn't want to fight that too aggressively. And now Elsai Kongro is forced to play on the defensive here. Is forced to go back, but he's going to bait this out for the massive rise coming in. But let's see if she can survive. The charm misses. Make saves coming in. Netflix until his full health. Drops the Stealth Shroud. But here
everyone's coming.
Bottom lane. Armatraga's up here. Has Static Shiv finished already. Working on the hand cannon now, as per last game.
Right now, everyone's rotating mid-side, except for Braum, who's farming up bottom. Good job. Give that support some gold.
Yeah, sure. That's what I would do.
He needs to get tanky enough so he can block for his team.
This is true. This is absolutely true. Although, I am concerned about the inevitable fight here. Netflix actually taking a lot of damage from Virus Alive.
Fiora has taken a small CS lead of a rise because she's been somewhat left up there in that lane. Kali actually going on the Caitlyn. Braum does land the Q.
Very nice. Winter's Bite there.
Caitlyn should have attacked.
Armatranga now gets exhausted, gets concussive blows on him, but he's still going for the kill. Gothman's going to be the first of all. Virus Alive is probably next. No, narrowly escapes. Yi goes in with the Alpha Strike. Gets Netflix a chill. Can he Yi set out of it? No, he does not. He gets taken down. Ace in the hole goes through and hits the Leona. And that is a 3-for-1 in favor of the red team.
I think Caitlyn believes she had the damage from her Peacemaker to kill off Akali flat out, rather than taking the safer route of just finishing the last auto attack to get the stun proc, and then landing the Peacemaker for the secured kill. I mean, that fight just prolonged a lot farther than it should, because they chased Akali into a Leona and Vayne, who were able to just turn this fight around. I mean, Vayne is massive. I think she probably has enough now for the Shiv Cannon combo. Yeah, she's sitting on over 2,000 gold.
Yeah.
So, Vayne is already back to what she was last game.
And those two items by themselves are already fairly potent, strong items on your average AD carry, but since Vayne has a lot of good damage scaling with only attack speed anyway, and then she can build 2 attack speed items which also increase her damage in other ways, plus give her a bit more range on the first hit, it's a really, really scary combo on a Vayne. And
plus 60% crit from 2 items.
Yep. And typically Vaynes don't have a ton of crit under their belt, so...
Really, like normally, they have a Static Shiv or they have a Phantom Dancer, and that was about it, really. Sometimes they would go for Infinity Edge, but normally it was just get more attack speed. So we have ourselves about a 2,500 gold. They are sending Vayne up top with the Fiora, Static Shiv procs, but Rise is just going in. They have the Yi.
Yi goes in. There's the Alpha Strike. There's the Red Smite, but Armatranga is so huge. Wants to fight them 2v1 face to face.
I don't know. Rise was actually dishing some damage back at Armatranga. However, Rise's passive is down for the moment.
That's 3 on the tower at top. They cannot defend it. That blue team tower is going to go down.
380 carries basically. Any turret's going to fall.
Puma now goes in 1v2 in this bottom lane here. Gets concussive blowed, though. Here comes Ronnie B onto Errol, but Alpha Strikes in. Gets taken down regardless. Cannot avoid that damage. We will have that bottom tier 1 tower here for the blue team very shortly, unless Puma now finds a way to hold it, but doesn't want to step on those traps. He will get taken down by Virus Alive with the guaranteed headshots. Flynn Rider hanging out on the side for Armatranga here. Rise is trying to go in, goes for the flash, the Room Prince, and he takes him down! Shut down on the Vayne. I check out my mixtape for the blue team.
The magic machine gun takes out the physical machine gun. So something else to note right now, as we have seen, Akali does have her Hex Gunblade up,
Caught
which
by Ari. Flynn Rider goes for the riposte. Ari dashes past through it. The grand challenge is put down, and here comes the Quinn. Nice flower for the heal there.
from the way that death animation was, Ari's tail looks like the flower blossoming.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I know. With my death, I give life.
To the wrong team.
Yeah. But I mean, Akali does have that gunblade, which is actually, I think, one of the 3 most expensive items in the game, whereas Ari is still trying to scale, which I think is a...
Ooh, Netflix and Joe might get caught out here. Does put down the Stealth Shroud.
Skits a scuttle while he's at it.
Available, throws down the red trinket there, but Concussive Blows is going to proc, and Piltover is going to take him out this time.
But he got the scuttle, so it was worth. And the Rift Herald is being focused right now.
Hey, we got ourselves a Rift Herald. So Rift Herald gives a buff.
Oh, here comes Quinn.
The one player that kills it, it might be Quinn if she gets in there for the steal here. Let's see what happens. Nope.
Went to Rise.
Spirit went to Rise. So it gives him basically a miniature Baron buff, only onto him. It does empower minions, but it does not give them the defensive stats, only the offensive stats. So they are still easier to kill, but they do push a lot more effectively. Meanwhile, Dragon being taken, though, by the red team. And it's their first Dragon of the game, so Dragons have been tied up. But this mid tower is going to go down thanks to the grouping up for the blue team here and that Rift Herald buff.
So Rise also going for very early home guards on top of his sorcerer shoes, trying to look for those flashy teleport plays, but more importantly, just constantly being able to come out of base, get to lane, since right now he is the strongest member of his team, he is the carry at this point, so he needs to be at every team fight when possible.
Now, red team's going to try to trade another tower here, but they don't quite have the minions to back that up.
Rise going in.
He's very fast. He's looking for any target he possibly can get here. Looks like we are looking for the Akali. Gets hit by the Winter's Bite. Elsai Congo gets...
Ooh, beautiful!
That's a 2-man solar eclipse there from Leona. Armortronga up in the front line. Nice visual fissure there. Netflix and Chill is bound to go down. Gets ignited. Ronnie B gets stuck in the middle of that. He goes down first, followed by the Braum. A 1-for-1 so far. But the red team is so incredibly low, and that Rise is still at full health and mana. Red team are forced to back off for the time being. Let's see if the blue team can pick off another kill or the tower.
Rise's ultimate is up, so he can get a surge of speed to try to lock down the vein.
Ari actually took a couple of extra tower shots there. Didn't need to. Netflix and Chill is very low. Hops the Stealth Shroud. Wants to go in for the Ari, but no! Gets taken down before he can even finish her off. Absolutely excellent reaction time by the blue team to not panic and just kill the Akali before the Akali can kill you.
Rise basically zoning out the vein now, constantly throwing out his overload as a way just to deter her from going in. And this game has actually, we have a 1,000 gold lead on the blue team. I think it's the first time this game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Despite being behind in kills, and again, it's even though the game does seem a lot more bloody and like a snowbally death match, the game is still very objective focused. It's just a lot faster in the early game, so kills aren't always the greatest indicator of how the game is going. But yeah, I mean, red team, they had a decent fight, but I mean, it was only a 2-man ulti from Leona, which better than missing it, I suppose.
Yeah. I think he was trying to force an opportunistic solar flare, I believe. Rather than try to look for the best one, he's like, oh, I got 2 people right here, and it was the Ari, and I think it was the Caitlyn. Actually, no, it was a Braum. Braum did stand beside to get into the Ari, so he was like, hey, I'll ult here and see if we can burst. But the problem is, when Leona did this, the rest of our team was not immediately in position to follow up, and even then, you have a Fiora, you have a Vayne, you have a Quinn, you have a Akali. You don't really have any sort of AoE burst to follow up with an AoE lockdown. You just have a bunch of single target damage. And if Braum is ever able to get that stand beside me shield up, you're not going to get to that back line, even if you do get the CC down.
Yeah, and during that small window of a pick attempt from the red team here, Braum threw down the Unbreakable, threw down the Glacial Fissure, and the second that Ronnie B tried to go in, he was deleted. I mean, he's just not durable enough to take the brunt of the Rise and this blue team right now.
They are trying to get this Baron down.
And that is the Baron for the blue team. Nice and early, 23 minutes in here. Rise is on the chase as well. The whole team with the empowered minion buffs now. They could try to split up and go for a really strong split push.
I honestly don't think they need to right now. I mean, you have the Caitlyn, you have the Braum. I mean, and more importantly, you have Ryze. You need to keep Ryze with you. They got the Vayne!
Oh, the flash! Rune Prison on the Vayne gets shut down by Saikong Grozari here. Nice little bit of extra gold in the pocket there with the Death Cap Rush. Straight off the bat here. Shroud goes down by Akali, but Netflix Kill has no window to go in here.
Ryze is locking down Leona. The tank is dead.
And that was through the Eclipse Shield as well. Leona had the bonus resistance on that entire time. So that was a massive amount of damage done onto that Leona. And it's very much worth it in this case. It gets them the tower and the first inhibitor of the game just 24 minutes in here. And now they're going to rotate on up to the top lane and try to do the same thing.
I can foresee one thing right now.
And that is...
Armatronga is going to be playing a lot of Urgot.
Oh, possibly. If he gets 20 kills and loses, is that still...
That's fine.
That's fine. Just needs 20 kills. Oh, the pause.
Okay, so let's actually see how much gold is on the blue team right now.
Sorry.
He was complaining about lag and can't see shit, so he might be having a connection issue right now.
Yeah.
But I actually want to see how much gold is on the blue team roster right now, because they've managed to push all the way up through mid lane, get the inhibitor. They've won a few kills, plus the Baron gold as well. Let me see.
I'm actually going to let you talk by yourself for a second here.
Master Yi is sitting there with over 3,300 gold in his pocket. Ari with 2,300. Ryze with 13. Everyone has over 1,000 gold in change. So while they still have the Baron buff empowering their minions, they basically have another item sitting in their pockets, waiting. So when they recall, they're just going to get even stronger than before. So this is a very good opportunity for Blue Team because they have the position on the map to knock down this top turret relatively with ease. And should be able to snowball their goal just a little bit further, recall back since they have pressure being generated in mid lane. They might try to continue pushing. I think it's probably better for them. Yeah, they're backing off right now. They have a lot of gold. No reason to lose any sort of advantage. Spend your money. Let's see what we get. So Ryze right now has that Seraph's Embrace. Looks like he is going now for a Void Staff, so he has the bonus magic penetration, which thankfully Void Staff did not get nerfed in the way that Last Whisper did. We have ourselves a Blade of Rune King and a fully stacked Sated Devourer on Master Yi, but no boots yet. But again, he's Yi, he doesn't need it that much. We have a Void Staff with the Death Cap on Arya, so she's going for a very sustained damage approach rather than the typical Luden's Echo for the burst. Caitlyn does have the Essence Reaver and the Rapid Fire Cannon, so she has a fair amount of crit and cooldown reduction now, and is working on that Shiv, so she will basically be matching Vayne. And Braum has possibly the best item he can have to support right now against the red team's composition, has that Frozen Heart, reduce the attack speed of the Quinn, of the Vayne, of the Fiora. Beautiful item.
Okay, sorry.
Blue team right now setting up for the Dragon right now. They should be able to get this fairly uncontested. They've hit a massive item spike, and this is only going to be the second Dragon, so it's not much of an advantage gained, but still, it's an objective off the map. And we do have Ryze teleporting with the last bit of that Baron buff, trying to defend the top lane. He does have his teleport, so he can assist the team whenever necessary. So right now, I think the best play they can do, since Baron has been depleted, is you have the 4 members of Blue Team try to push up the bot lane, but time themselves with the mid lane super creeps so they don't force themselves into a 4v5 situation while having Ryze push the top lane and teleport whenever necessary. So right now, the whole map is in Blue Team's hands, so it's up to them to position and maneuver on the map appropriately. And welcome back.
Thank you. Interesting to see Ronnie picking up a hand cannon as well. Fire cannon. Is it rapid fire cannon? Yeah.
Yes.
Rapid fire cannon. Keep going to call it hand cannon. That just sounds better to me, but that's not what it is. Oh, the other one goes down. It barely tags Virus of Life on the side.
We have Ryze teleporting in.
The Grand Challenge goes down. Arrow's the first to fall. Ronnie gets the kill. The red team are actually slightly on top of this one, but Flynn Rider's going to be next to fall. Virus of Life is still alive. Armatronga gets taken out by the point-blank ace in the hole. A choke kill for the Caitlyn. Flashes for it.
That should be a quadra!
Away. That's a quadra for the Virus of Life. And the ace for the blue team after what looks like possibly a strong bit of aggression from the red team, but again, they're just a little too far behind, and those abilities aren't quite landing in the most optimal positions. So, blue team
It's the virus of life, and he kills them all with sniper bullets as Braum stands tall.
Oh, not for long. Oh.
Ah, run away! So they're able to get 2 turrets, a quadra kill for Caitlyn, who is reaching the point. Caitlyn is interesting when it comes as an AD carry. Early game, she's incredibly strong due to her range. Mid game, she's incredibly weak because her kit doesn't really function well, really as like a team fight AD carry. But late game, if you get the items on her, due to the fact that she has such a natural, crisp auto attack animation and has the range, she can turn into like a moderate hyper carry just because of those fundamentals alone. So she's starting to ramp up. She actually has 2 rapid fire cannons.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Speaking of Caitlyn, what's up with the double fire cannon? I'm pretty sure those are unique passives. So there we go. Static shift is set. Okay, good. I was like, I don't think that's what you wanted to do. You already had one of those.
No, that's totally what she wants to do. It's totally what she wants to do. Nothing like BM saying, I don't even need this item slot.
Vayne does have an IE finished for herself now. But, I mean...
Yeah, so she has seen 80% crit with crit amplification.
Well, important to note. Armatonga doing the best he can to stay in the game here. Red team aren't out of this yet. Blue team are definitely in the lead for the time being, but... As we saw with the last game.
Ooh, Rise is setting up.
Ooh, he catches the support, but it's a pretty tanky support. I don't know if Rise can take her down completely on his own.
Nope. I mean, Leona at this point does have a Fire at Face of the Mountain and a Ruby Sightstone, effectively almost giving her 1,000 health, plus with a Lock of the Iron Solari, and I think we have, we do have a Mercury Treads. So she is building to basically absorb all of Rise's damage, to absorb the Ari. She's trying to be that front line to eat all the CC and live long enough to land that CC of her own to give her team the advantage in team fights. So this is actually incredible itemization, because Rise is still fairly far behind.
Oh no, she did. She did take it. Okay, never mind. She does have the Bond of Stone Mastery, so she is actually absorbing damage as well. If any damage hits somebody near her, percentage of that is actually going to hit her instead. So, yeah.
Ooh, an interesting itemization choice. Caitlyn with a Last Whisper when really no one on the red team has any armor, not even the Leona at this point. So that Last Whisper not doing any bonus, like any armor shred, because no one has bonus armor. So I think this is a missed opportunity. She could have been going for like a Bloodthirster at this point, or even, considering the composition, a Mercurial Scimitar, which does provide lifesteal now. So if she does get CC'd by Leona, she can get out. So I think that's I'm not gonna lie, that's terrible. That's terrible itemization.
Well, I believe the Last Whisper now can build into a Lord Dominic's Regards. Puma now goes in, but finds the other support, not his prime target. The lockdown does land on the Virus Alive. The Grand Challenge goes down as well. Can they kill that blue team AD carry? Netflix and Chill goes in, but he cannot find the target. Virus Alive is the next.
Ooh, Ari!
But the Vayne goes down. The blue team are sweeping the floor here. That is a clean 5-for-0 ace, and that's got to be the game here.
I mean, well, you're right. Lord Dominic's, where it gives you bonus damage against targets that have higher health than you. But who's that going to work on? Only Leona. So really, that's really not a good itemization. I still think she should have gone for Mercurial Scimitar. But it's a moot point because they just completely swept that team fight. And that is going to be a game at 31 minutes, 40-ish seconds. Blue team takes the lead.
Excellent healing.
And oddly enough,
because they burned everything trying to just get onto the Virus Alive, shut him down, and work from there. And the blue team, Godsmith especially, throwing down the face of the mountain. Perfect positioning with the Unbreakable and the Glacial Fissure. Really, really well done there, keeping him alive. And that was a clean ace to close out that game there. And
it was impressive.
A little bit too far behind in a meta currently that favors snowballing. So